and welcome to Session 2 of Macro Discovery Program. My name is Alice Zabiska, and I will be your guide throughout that Macro Discovery Program sessions. You're welcome to use that video, but if you want to use the links that I put on presentation itself, you need the presentation. I have it in PDF format as file in Facebook Macro Discovery Group. Please go there, open it up, and use the links and clickable pictures so to get more information and learn more about each topic covered in the session. And let's get started. I'm going to bring and share the screen with you and bring the presentation on. And let me start right here. Okay, so today we cover wisdom of life energy. Why it's so important to know more about life energy than starting with the food, what to eat to get healthier. Because in macrobiotics, we're not obsessed with the diet, we're obsessed with energy of whenever we do, of nature, us, and food all together. To understand how the energy creates life, we need to learn more about two incredible forces, Yin and Yang. And that session will cover that topic. Like I said, if you need more information or better understanding, and use the links available in the presentation to learn more about it, please use the PDF file in Facebook, posted in Facebook Macro Discovery Program. Let's get started. And as usually, I'd like to start any presentation with Zen story, such as this. Suzuki Roshi, I have been listening to your lectures for years, a student said during the question and answer time following the lecture, but I just don't understand. Could you just please put it in a nutshell? Can you reduce Buddhism to one phrase? Everyone laughed. Suzuki laughed. Everything changes, he said. Then he asked for another question. This is in essence what energy is all about. Energy changes all the time, constantly. And that's what we're going to learn about Yin and Yang. They're changing all the time. And for us to keep them in balance, it's a little bit of art and technique. To learn more about it, you're attending my program, right? So remember 4 macrobiotic principles covered in the first session, living in tune with nature. And second one we're going to cover today, balance the yin and yang of your diet and life and avoid extremes of either. And then we're going to have, we'll cover it locally and seasonally, and eat the diet right for you and understand the law of change. And we know already, everything changes. That's what energy is about. You can also, you're always welcome to browse my website, where I post so much information and learn more about the energy and food and activities that help you to keep your body in balance. Please check it out. Read my book. The site is bilingual. It's in English and Russian. The same with the book. It's written in English and Russian. So take the opportunity. Learn and practice macrobiotic. So I would encourage you to start with life energy and learn the activities that are going to help you to move energy in the body and to keep it in balance. And that include body scrub, doing, breathing, yoga, meditation. We'll talk about it more during the program, but you can get started right now, sooner. Also, in Macro Talk session, check out the videos. One of the video, I would definitely encourage you to listen when you're walking or when you're cooking or when you do something mechanically. Maybe you can listen to Danny Waxman presentation, what's unique about macrobiotics. Very good, smart, delivered beautifully. You will get more understanding of macrobiotic by listening to Danny Waxman's presentations, and there are many of them on YouTube. Also, check out Natasha's Meridian Stretches, love it. What else I have here? Making nabe. This is my favorite dish, and I was making it in the kitchen a year ago. Please check it out. How to make spring rolls. My daughter did that video. And of course, interviews or talk with Warren Kramer, who is no longer with us. So his words of wisdom, always good to hear. So please explore that opportunity. So before we dive into the yin and yang and life energy, what the life is. If life is something you can put aside and do something different and then go back to it, life is a process. Once we understand, the definition is not that important, but understanding that it's a process. Moving energy in and out of your body. It's a process. So can we control somehow that process? Knowing yin and yang, we cannot control life entirely, but we can control a little bit. We can try maybe to control more and maybe make it more, I would say, healthier and more enjoyable by knowing how to use yin and yang. So what are characteristics? If you read those characteristics, I'm not going to read them right now, you understand that every living and breathing thing goes through the same characteristics. We're not different from animal kingdom. We're not different from animal. We're actually part of animal kingdom. And as animal kingdom, along with plants, adjust to nature where we live, where they are, we also need to adjust to energy of environment around us. So make sure you listen to the first session and understand the energy of nature. Adding the energy of yin and yang in total understanding will be very helpful. So where the energy is coming from? From cosmic and earth energy put together. Look at the little planet Earth. Even though it's little, it gets so much energy from sun. This is the closest star to us, sun, right? And get the energy from universe and has its own energy. So energy supplied from universe and from sun. And it's never straight line, like boom, here's your energy. You need energy, boom, here's more energy for you. It's a spiral and it's going on all the time. Giving that energy, the earth can rotate around its own axis and turn and rotate around sun, which is very interesting thing. We're not going to get deep into it. So to tap into this energy, we try to get it during meditation. That's why it's so important to get it. That is a life force that we get by being part of the earth. If earth did not have energy, or universe did not provide us energy, we wouldn't have a life. So to come down, to get a clean and good energy, you need to get into the meditation process or live life of monks, but we cannot. We live a life we have, and life maybe we can change. I tried, by the way. It's not that easy. But through meditation, you tap into both energy that comes through 7 chakras and spread through your body, throughout the body. So medicine has its limitation. Life force has none. A very interesting quote. Think about it, that the guy, Yogananda, he wrote a very famous book, Autobiography of a Yogi. You can download it in PDF format on internet. I have one, I'm reading. Interesting fact that Steve Jobs ordered 500 copies of his book for his memorial for 500 guests. Makes sense to look into it. It was considered the most, one of the best 100 spiritual books of 20th century. So life energy is a product of yin and yang forces. What are they actually? They're opposite forces. They're antagonistic but complementary. They work together. They always exist together. One of them expansive, going out, and one of them contracting, moving down. Not the straight lines that you see in the picture. It's always spiral, but not to make it more difficult, I presented it as those arrows. So yes, expansive, contracted. There's nothing else in between. And Chinese came up with amazing, incredible symbol, as you see on the bottom here. Yin and yang. White is yang, black is yin. But what are those little circles in each one of them? So an extreme situation, when yang is big and growing, inside burn yin and start growing. An extreme yin situation, yang is burn, is inside, is start created inside and start growing into yang. So it's an interesting notion. Exactly. It also on Macro Talk, there's a little video how they work together in motion. I suggest you check it out. It's very interesting to see. It's not that it's two-dimensional in the symbol, but it's three-dimensional. How they move around with each other in their relationship and moving around constantly, one with another. Qi is born. That is Qi. So like Lao Tzu said, oneness, they together in one thing. So that circle represents oneness, one, unified. Two energies are born, yin and yang. And out of their relationship, the third entity is born is Qi. That what we possess, that we want. And that Qi exists in environment because environment consists of living things. We call environment a living thing. The housing, the apartment building, the cars, the pavement, the roads, it's not. Environment, it's what's living things. Plants, animals, weather, it's all together. Thus environment is part of Qi around us. Us inside, our organs communicate with each other through Qi that goes through us from the universe and from the earth. Of course, where the meditation comes, really, it's considered better to meditate on the nature. Because where are you sitting on the floor? You're not sitting on earth. The energy of earth cannot get through the floors as much as through the earth. And the same with universe. So it's hard to do it sometimes, or most of the time, specifically in Chicago, either too hot or too cold. So we do it at home. But if you do it often enough, it really helps the energy to move in the body, creating life. Yin and Yang is in everything. Look, in nature, in ocean, in businesses, in yoga. Look at a woman stretching on a yoga mat. She is contracting her back. It's contracted, right? Where front is expanded. So yin and yang. Look at the people in the gym. They're using weights, contracting muscles, tightening them up, and then they need to stretch. Look at the nature in a tropical climate. Lush, beautiful, growing, huge, with contractive energy. And look at the winter nature. Energy is expansive, yin, cold. So it changes all the time, right? We live in temperate climates, so we have different seasons. Interesting, look at the trees. They start with little seed planted in the earth. Seeds get the energy, one energy coming from earth, pushing it out, growing into big tree. Another from the universe, pushing it down for roots to grow. So because of yin and yang, because of that, the tree is growing. Of course, we need a soil and a water. At least the water must be there. So how did the people in China realize of energies like yin and yang? Where they came from? Like watching their environment, and especially mountains. They look at a mountain and think, oh, interesting. One side is cold while another one is hot. During daytime it's warm, during nighttime it's cold. And sun, not sun moving around, the earth rotating around sun, but it changes all the time. Remember, things are changing. So look at the bottom. It's a planet Earth with America shown right there. Looks like a little bit like an animal to me. I don't know what you think about it. But there's a solid Earth with water, yin and yang. So what the yin characteristic? Cooler, darker, more moist, softer, more passive. Look at a yang characteristic, warmer, brighter, drier, harder, more active. So when I talk like that with my hands on and I'm really active and you're listening, you're passive. Who is yin? Who is yang at this moment? I'm more yang. You are more yin, even though we have both of them in each one of us. So here the energy is shown as spiral, but yang energy goes down to planet Earth, to the center of the Earth. And yin energy goes up, spiral, but goes up. So we are charged by those two energies. Guess who else is charged? Or what else is charged? Every growing plant, every animal, every plant, charged with those energies. What is not charged with life energy? Chemicals, drugs. There's no life energy in them. Anything artificial in our food, not helping energies to move. We want a natural. That's why it's a whole movement right now happening. People realize natural food, not chemically refined or processed, not created artificially or genetically modified, has the life energy. And that's what we need to live. We need the life energy. So yang energy and yin energy can be qualified as centrifugal and centripetal. One down, one out. You don't have to memorize any of this, just understanding that everything within the circle of two energies that moving one into another. If you're during daytime, you're vertical, you're walking, you're active, you are producing, you are eating, you are doing things. So you are more yang. At nighttime, you're trying to restore your energy, you relax, you're more yin. So it's a combination of those two things created everything in the universe, not on planet Earth, in the universe. Everything consists of yin and yang energies. Why I believe in that? It's interesting when you think that what you trust the most, the human experience or the science. Yes, I love science and I trust science, but the science changes. You cannot put your life to defend the scientific discoveries, because 10 years later, it's going to be something else. And what you believe firmly in going to change, or going to be different, or going to be updated. We believe in Newton's physics, and then Einstein showed up. And now there's new things that is developing right now. Not going to confuse you, not going to go into it. But we trust, I personally trust more human experience, especially with that human experience has been around for 5,000 years. So I like that picture. Between man and woman, man is more charged by yang energy. Energy from the universe coming through man, through his chakra points, and look at his reproductive organ, charge that organ, looking down, sometimes not. And look at a woman charged by earth energy, going up and charging reproductive organs as well. And of course, the organs of the breast. And women are charged by mostly by yin energy. They're less in the cloud, they're more standing by both feet on planet Earth. They protect the family, protect the kids, protect their men, and protect environment. Who's the most active in all those areas in our country? We know. The best representation of yin and yang is breathing, because it happens all the time. You breathe in, you breathe out. You inhale, you exhale. You take oxygen and you exhale carbon dioxide. So it's extremely important to understand we expand and contract and expand and contract, okay, all the time. And that regulates a lot of energy coming through the breathing, especially for lungs and diaphragm. So breathing is the part of macrobiotic activity. So while you're doing meditation, you try to free up your brain work, your mind, and open it up for energies coming to you from universe and from planet Earth. While we're breathing, we try to bring oxygen to our bodies, but we never forget to inhale. What we don't do properly is exhaling to get all the toxins out of lungs, so they're not going to get into organs, especially to our heart. So breathing properly improves health tremendously. Learn how to breathe. I have it on our website, on my website, breathing explanation and doing it. And you can find excellent, I would say, guidance on breathing. It's available everywhere. So to put it together, it's like the quote by Jane Fonda, but she's like health nut, you know that, right? She said, we're not meant to be perfect. We're meant to be whole. And that wholeness consists of combination of yin and yang, negative, positive, not negative like negative, not positive like you're positive. It's just one versus another, but together, feminine, masculine. You probably definitely have in mind a woman who more masculine than the man, or men who are more feminine than the woman. That's also happened. But the overall prevalence of one versus another always exists. They're together. Passive, active, intuitive, logical, dark, light, night, day, cold, hot, soft, hard, slow, fast, moon, sun. So one of them expansive, another contracted, but not like totally 100%. They are together, but one prevails over another one. Keep that in mind. Why do we need to know that? Sometimes that question like pops to people's head. I remember looking at it like, wow, how interesting. But then the question, then how do I use it practically? We're going to learn that more and more throughout that session, but mostly through all the rest of the sessions, you're going to be using it a lot. So trust me, you need to know that. So contractive yang, expansive yin. So if someone says yin and yang, it's hard to, at some point in time, to define what's yang, what's yin. Look at the water. Some point in time it's water. Then it can turn into ice, into fog. And how that happens and when the water is yin and where the yang is still water. So it's not that you need to define everything in terms of yin and yang. But for example, if you have food that grows near the equator, see that? It's more yang, near the equator, more yang, right? And you are in the summer, which is also yang. So how you balance summer with the fruit from equator? They both yang, both of the same contractive energy. So we need to actually realize how to use them properly. Not that we're going to eat the whenever it grows near equator. We're going to eat locally because it's not for us. It's not our environment. But what's near the equator is contractive as weather, right? What's near the poles is expansive in terms of weather. So go through, but most important comparison that we're going to be focusing on, it's a ratio between sodium and potassium, basically sodium salts, right? And potassium. That combination and ratio defines the balance of our bodies. We'll talk about it even further. During the class, we have tea time that people can ask questions, but right now, I'm going to finish the first part of second session, and I'm going to record the second part of second session right after that. Like I said, you can look at the presentation to get to click on links and get more information. You're welcome to post your questions on the Facebook Macro Discovery group, or contact me. You have my phone, my email, just email, or better text it, because I'm not checking email every second. But if you need something really, it's something important, you need to talk to me, text me. Okay? And talk to you soon. I'm going to finish that video and start the next one.